Y'all's names?
I'm Mia.
I'm Hitchins.
And how did you guys meet?
We were working at like the same place. But like we were friends and like we were seeing other people at the time. And yeah, we started hanging out more and we were like single at the same time and then he just fell in love with me, so yeah.
Everything she says is true, so.
Yeah.
How long have you been in each other's lives, whether it was dating or just friendship?
10 months ago.
Yeah, dating for like 10 months.
Prior to that, right?
A year and some change. Yeah.
Where are you usually from originally?
I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Originally from Orlando, Florida. So, a long way from home.
Yeah, and what brought you to New York?
I'm modeling. I came to New York for modeling and stuff. And then I also transferred work. So, where we first met, I transferred there. So, you know, she thought I was weird at first because I wouldn't really talk to anyone. So.
He was so quiet. Like low key. But then like you started like talking a lot.
I started running.
Yeah.
We love a yapper. We love
Like
communication. Who approached who first?
It was more like mutual.
Yeah.
Like we were just hanging out a lot.
I wouldn't really ever say no to like not hanging out with her. So.
Why?
And then why would you say you guys felt drawn to each other?
Honestly, I don't even know what it was. It's just every time we kept on hanging out, it just felt like, it felt just right, And then, like, I would always say yes to seeing her, so just ended up, catching feelings.
Yeah. He was just so sweet.
How would you describe the difference between being in love and simply loving somebody?
I would say that being in love, like loving someone is probably just like, I feel like it just comes like natural. It's just something that like, I don't know how to explain it, like you just love someone. But it's probably like,
It's not the same as
it
when you're.
may not have like any benefit for you, like just loving someone, but I think being in love, like that benefits you as well. Like it's just like you're so like enamored in it, like it's kind of like all around you. And just like loving someone, it's just like something that's just like second nature.
I agree with what she said. I feel like clearly it's two different things because you can always say I love you so. If people that you love, you have love for, but when you really say I love to the person that that's your person, it's different. It feels different. Like the way you look at them is different. Like I think when I look at her, when she smiles or like when she talks about certain things, especially things that's important to her, it just makes me like I'm in awe. So.
Would you consider yourself in love with the person next to you?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
How would you describe your love languages within this relationship and in a general sense?
I don't know, cause like in general before I would say like my love language wasn't physical touch. Like I didn't really like to be touched, but I mean as you can see, like I like love physical touch. Now that's like my thing. I like getting it. I like giving it. I would also say like for him, I know he loves like acts of service, so I do that. Like he loves like washing his hair, like oiling his scalp, and like at first I'm kind of like, I don't want to do that, but like it's like right, like it's like his thing. So yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, I think for me, acts of service, physical touch, but I don't know. I think growing up, living with my grandparents, I used to see them just do things for each other. Whether it's like my grandfather cooking for my grandma, washing her clothes and stuff like that, and I think it kind of like it's something for me because now sometimes it's like the simple things that is enough for me. Like whether she makes me a sandwich, washes my hair, rubs my head, you know, those little things. Yeah. I love when she makes me a sandwich.
You make you sandwiches? You make you sandwiches?
He cooks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does the way that you were raised have an effect on your relationship currently?
I'd say yes, because although, you know, for my grandparents, you didn't see much of like, you know, there's different ways to love people, and for them, I really saw it as like, they were always doing stuff for each other. So, I think I also remember seeing like my aunts and uncles, like they would play fight and stuff like that, but living with my grandparents, it really showed me like, their way of loving each other is like they did so much for each other that it necessarily didn't have to be like other things where it's like, you know, a lot of couples kiss PDA and all that other stuff, but for them it's like food, like they clean for each other. Like there's days that my grandma would come home from work and my gramps had the food ready, ask her if she want a plate, let her lay down, bring her food, like all that little stuff. And I think that ties into like how I am now. You know, there's days where I know that she's coming from school or like coming home from work, and then I'll like make some salmon, make some rice, you know, some avocado, you know, make sure she gets fed. So, you know, little things like that goes a long way.
I mean, I didn't really see love in like the home, but in relationships, I saw a lot that like my mom put herself first, I think, and she never really like sacrificed her happiness. So I knew that that's a love that I wanted. I never felt like I was settling or like I was always happy. Like that was important, and like you know, I am happy. So I guess that's what I learned.
How old are you guys?
I'm 20.
24.
Okay, so I know that you're right. All right, what are y'all's names?
Julye.
Kakos.
How did you meet?
We met in,
Dating site, right?
no, not dating site. We met through a mutual friend at like I'm gonna call it a housewarming, but yeah, that's how we met.
Okay. How long have you been in each other's lives, whether it was dating or just platonically, intimately?
5.
Yeah. Well, a little less than 5, I guess, because we just had our 4-year anniversary in December, but I think it was like 4.5. Because we met in what, June, July 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Where both of you from originally?
Brooklyn, New York.
Bronx, Harlem.
Okay.
Wait, New York.
New York overall. Very good. Who approached who first?
I think you did. I think you approached me first. Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
He said no. I did do that. Okay, and then oh, go ahead.
I would say, like, when we first met, I had opened the front door and he was there, and like other people.
Like a sitcom.
I was like, it was like, because it was during COVID, like, we were supposed to all, like, what's it called? Quarantine, and then we were like, okay, now we can celebrate this person moving, whatever. And I'm like, who are these people that I don't freaking know?
Yeah.
You know, I felt lied to. But like, maybe that's what.
No,
was
we
the
were
plan?
quarantined, but we couldn't be like, it was definitely like, not like you can say it would be legal to not quarantine, but it was
But-
against the rules.
Yeah, it was definitely deeply frowned upon. But we were talking about, not you, that we were all quarantined before we all, like, you know, met up. Because I'm like, I still lived with my parents at the time. Like, that was the whole premise of me even being like, okay, I'm good. So he shows up and other people, I'm like, I don't know what they were up to.
And then I'm like, who is this? Like,
But yeah, I did a thing on Instagram, or like I did an art thing, and he liked it. And then he DM'd me months after we met.
What made you drawn to her, to DM her after the fact?
it It was the art. I can tell. I did a little bit of painting at that time too, so I can kind of tell like watercolor and stuff. And it was a T-shirt that she had made. So I thought it was watercolor or something like that too. But it was still impressive work, especially to put on a T-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, whoa, like it looked pretty good. And I liked it. And then just off the art, I liked it. And then
Just like the creative aspect of her.
creative,
Yeah.
And then after that, kind of just met at one point,
Mm-hmm.
and then just hit off from there. So,
Don't stop talking.
yeah.
How would you describe the difference between being in love and simply loving someone?
Ooh.
Oh, me, okay.
Both of y'all.
First
Let's
time.
talk about it.
You said being in love and loving someone?
Mm-hmm.
I think being in love, you know, I feel like loving someone's like, despite everything, you know, you still love them. You know, it's like, even if they have a little bad habits or whatever, it's like, it doesn't really matter. It's a part of who they are, and you love that. I think loving someone, I think, or loving something in general, it's not, it's love without despite, so it's like, you may not know a thing about a person, or you refuse to acknowledge a thing about a person, and call it being in love.
Being in love is kind of like, not focusing on like, let's say, red flags or something like that. It's just being in the moment, right? And then the love was what?
Loving someone.
Loving someone is similar to like unconditional. Like, doesn't matter. Like, you can notice the red flags, you can like see all those things, and you're like, I still love this person no matter what. Like, you still want the best for that person, no matter what. So similar, very close,
Yeah.
but
Two
the
different.
difference, yeah,
For sure.
It's like
might have been.
loving a celebrity, but you don't know them, and then loving someone you do know.
Would you consider yourself in love with the person next to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loving some, both. That's it.
Okay.
You're in love with me, and
Yeah. And then love you unconditionally. Like, I think despite whatever, like anything that transpires, I'd still think that's still love, no matter what. So
What would you describe your love language as, personally and within this relationship?
what are the love languages again?
that's what I'm I think I'm thinking through the thoughts in my
I
head.
guess like physical touch, quality time, acts of service, gifting, things like that.
I feel like being with him, I discovered that I like to do all those things.
Mm-hmm.
Whether like I can always do all those things are another story, but I do generally enjoy doing all those things
Yeah.
for him, and also getting all those things from him.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't always the case, you know.
Yeah. Okay. What would you say before y'all's relationship is something that you felt like was your not one and only, but like what you leaned towards more before expressing all of it with him?
I think acts of service is like a big thing for me. Like I feel like I'm always like, you know who to call. You know, that's always been, I guess my thing. It's nice to have someone to do that for.
Mm-hmm.
Acts of service. What about you?
Mine is like, I don't think there's any specific thing. I think it's just as long as the person's considerate,
Mm-hmm.
and then also like makes time. I think those are the two key things. I don't know what.
Quality time
Quality.
and I'm gonna say words of affirmation, but I don't think
I think yeah, to a degree words of affirmation.
Yeah. So I don't know where those categories go. What specific?
Yeah.
Is it genres or what specific one?
love languages.
Well, like hands on, but I think it's everything. I'm very in tune. As long as the person makes the effort, then that's all that really matters. I know things like happen it's like effort.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you show effort, it doesn't matter if you like, whether it be touch or what is it, acts of service. I don't know what it
It's like quality time, acts of service.
I think there's 7, right?
Oh, those 5.
5, okay. You know, however many they are, I think it's just, it's like a rate, not a radar, a scale. Like everything has to be met, not has to, but as long as something is met, then that's all that matters. And that's the being in love part, where it's like, it doesn't matter what, as long as this person acknowledges me, I'm okay. Like,
I was gonna say, oh no, I'm blanking. I feel like I was gonna say, what was it? Like, in a way, I feel like they're all acts of service, because if he knows that I need something, like, I want quality time, like, I don't always voice the things, but he can always tell. And so I feel like your big thing isn't really acts of service. Like, you can always tell what it is that I need, whether it's like a physical thing, emotional thing, and you're like, gotcha, you know?
same goes here, where it's just, be considerate, like at that point, it's just a consideration thing. You always want the best for your significant other, or anyone that you love, right? Like family or anything. Anyone you genuinely love, you always want the best for. And then anyone you're in love with, you want the utmost best for them. Like, I'll bring you this moon right now. Like, so things like that.
Would you say the way that you were raised has an effect on your current relationship?
You said people are gonna see this.
Say only what you feel comfortable with.
Comfortable with everything.
I think I'm very observant.
Okay.
And so like I definitely like see other people's relationship, and like in turn when you witness other people's relationship, you almost experience it yourself to an extent. And I see what it is that I do not want, and what it is that I do want. And so on that note, yes, how I was raised definitely affects, what was it? Affects like
Your current relationship.
my current relationship. Yeah.
I think it does. I don't think it holds as much weight as that. I too was very observant of any relationship that I saw, and the only relationship I really had eyes on, like the ins and outs, were like the people that raised me, so like my parents, and just kind of seeing how things have gone and went. You kind of know, like, I'm not doing this for the relationship sense of it. I'm more so doing it for the other person. So like, for every action there's a reaction or yeah. So it's more so taking that into consideration as well. Like, it's an island. You're on an island with another person. So like, make sure you share resources. Make sure you do everything like it's a unit. So, that being said, I think it does play a part, not a major one, but yeah, it's something that you can look back and go, okay, I can see how this went wrong. Or I can see, like, okay, we're on the same path, but this is where they went wrong, and this is how I'm like, keep it on the road. Take it, yeah. But it's something that you realize once you're in the relationship, and you're just like, okay.
That's true.
When you're young, you're like, oh, okay.
You
I
see
think it's my fault. This is happening. This is me. And I'm like, nah. Like, miscommunication and things like that, lack of consideration from one person to another, and then tit for tat kind of thing. But
Never try to be petty.
yeah, like we be petty, but it's like
It's not serious.
it's like some cute like
Yeah.
you drank all the milk. Okay, I'm gonna eat all the vegetables. So,
And then how old are you guys?
25.
40. I'm joking. 26. 26.
You guys look at each other with such lovely eyes. I love it. A series? Well, I feel like once I do and finish up with everything and how I feel about it, I might continue to do more. But like, yeah, just depending on how this works out initially. But basically, what I'm gonna do for the presentation, it's gonna be a physical presentation. I'm gonna rent somewhere out, and it's gonna be just one night only. It's not gonna be like open forever, or whatever. I'm gonna have, once the video is chopped and screwed and all that, I'm gonna have it on a projector. I'm gonna have like a wine tasting in the back. Hopefully, depending on dates and times, you guys can be present, and we're looking for them to be present as well. Just have the video on loop. You know, everybody chatting, talking about it, whatever. And then in terms of why I asked you kind of how you guys feel attached, you said attached to the hip, is because initially these outfits were supposed to be cut and sewn, but just in lieu of time, I was like, for the recording, I'll get these ones, and then I'm gonna do a full cut and sewn outfit of the sweats and the top being attached at the hip. Yeah, and then it's gonna be hanging somewhere wherever the presentation is. So like, there's like that aspect, the video aspect, and then like the event aspect that all is gonna be tied together. But yeah, that's majority of what's in my brain.
Okay, big brain, I love it.
Yeah. I was overwhelmed myself initially because I'm like, dude, if you don't keep up with everybody, they're gonna forget and you're gonna forget. So I was like, no, there's just a lot of things I have in mind. Gotta do it step by step. Like,
It's a lot because you need to organize all the thoughts and how are you gonna,
No, yeah, that's why I was like, okay, let me let y'all know, it's just me. It's just me. Nobody else doing this for me. It's just me.
Sometimes you really gotta let people know.
No, yeah, because it's like some people may think it's a team or a community thing. I'm like, nah, like it's all me. It's my bread. It's my time. It's, like, so I gotta move at that pace. But like, thank you so much for making time to do this and being responsive and all that. Like, I'm so fucking excited to get this out into the world. I've had this concept in mind for like almost 5 years now, and I'm just like, just go, just do it.
Put it out there.
Yeah.